Hi guys, it's Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's been a while since I've had a video up. I've just been, just super busy. But hopefully I'll be back into a regular schedule. And so for my first video back, I'm going to be using this stencil here, which is very simple, very dainty. Daisies are one of my favorite flowers. And this stencil is so easy to create with. So I'm going to be making 8 different cards using pretty much the same colors, these colors here on most of the cards, and I'm gonna add in doodling to my cards, which is something I've done a doodle border before but never doodled on an image itself, so I'm gonna go for it and see how it turns out, right? I mean, you can't really go wrong with doodling, because even if it looks not right, it's cute, right? And I'm using these rabbit hole bitty blending brushes. I love them because they allow for blending in small areas. And I also have these little brushes here, and I got these little guys off Amazon. They're a little different, but they get the job done. Anyway, so, oh, and here's the marker I'm going to be using, actually pen. I started using this in the video, and then the tip was kind of acting wonky, so I used another one, but it's the same type of pigment pen. So to start off, I'm using Salvage Patina in Oxides, Kitsch Flamingo, Twisted Citron, and Shaded Lilac. I like teal, pink, lime green, and purple together. I think they look really nice. So I'm just adding color. Now the cardstock I'm using here is the Tim Holtz Watercolor cardstock, because I'm going to be spraying this and adding a lot of water. So I wanted to make sure I had a nice heavyweight watercolor cardstock. So after removing the stencil, I mean, look, you can use any colors. Look how cute that is. Isn't that just, it just makes such an easy, it's such a great stencil to make such an easy background. So the next one, what I'm going to do here is I'm just kind of masking off, I just want one row of daisies. So I'm just taking some tape and just making sure that I don't over ink blend over the edge or ink blend over a flower. I don't want to. And I'm using the same colors of Oxides, and I'm just making a row of daisies. Now later on I'll show you what I did with this and the reason why I left it empty on the right side. So the next card, what I'm going to do is I made another background, and I'm just, oh, is it the same one? Yeah, it's the one I made from before. And I'm going to spray this so the colors will run a little bit. Now this is the Oxides, and it's a hybrid ink, which is a dye ink and a pigment ink. So it did run a little bit, but not as much as I thought it would. I thought it would kind of wick out more, I think because it dried a little bit. But that's okay, because I like the way it looked. After, with the water, it softened it up a little bit, and I did get some wicking or blooming, or whatever you want to call it, and it did have a nice effect. I'll show you on the cards at the end. Now the next one, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm using Distress inks instead. And the only the full-size Distress ink pads I have are the newly released colors. Otherwise, I only get the minis because I get the re-inkers, and I don't have enough room for all the full-size ink pads. Anyway, so I did the same thing with the Distress inks, and I sprayed it with the water. Now the next panel, I'm going to just use red, yellow, and blue. Well, yeah, red, yellow, and blue, and then this way when they cross over each other, I'm getting the secondary color. And the blue I'm using is, what color is that? Oh, Peacock Feathers, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a blue per se. It can just be in the blue family, and you still get that secondary color. You see the green there and the orange, and I like doing that because it's just easier than adding 5 colors. It's easier just to do 3. Now, the next thing, I checked this off screen to make sure that my ink was dry. I heat set it, and I double checked. I put embossing powder on it, and it was dry. So I took Versamark with an ink blending tool, and I applied Versamark ink through the stencil, and once that was done, I added the clear embossing powder on top, and I heat set that till it was good and melted. And then the next step is to take a black pigment ink, and I'm going to cover up this entire panel. I know it seems crazy, but the effect is really cool, because what happens is underneath that clear embossing ink, the rainbow colors that we created with this panel are trapped. So it's like a trapped effect, and I think that's really cool. It's fun, something different, you know. So I added the black, and there was some spot on the left there that I got clear embossing powder, but that's okay. I'm going to trim this off anyway, and that's okay. That's what's good about making a full-size panel, because you could always trim it down. Now, the next one, I'm going to be using just a white pigment ink and a oxide ink, and I'm just using yellow and white. And I'm using this on Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. This is the 100-pound version. And I'm just adding, I'm going to skip through real quick because it's just pretty self-explanatory. I just added the white to the petals, and look how cute that is. Look at it. I love daisies. They just make me happy. They're just such a happy flower, you know? I love them. That's why when I saw the stencil, I had to have it. It's just so simple and so happy and cheery, and I just love it. Okay, so the next one, actually the next step is going to be the doodle part of this video. So I'm just kind of moving everything out of the way and getting my pen ready, and I'm laying out my panels. I wanted to make sure everything was dry, and I grabbed my marker. See, I used a different marker. This one is a Zig pigment pen. I keep saying marker, pen. And I just outlined the petals. Just very simple, doesn't have to be perfect. You know, just go along the outside, and for that loose, you know, doodle look. I just love the way that looks. And again, I did the same thing for this full-size panel here. And again, I'm going to speed this up because it's the same thing. And I just went around and did all them. Now, this one is different because it's on craft cardstock, but I did the same thing again. And it just changes the whole look of this card, of this panel. Adding the black just makes it pop more, you know, makes it stand out. So here are all my panels after I doodled on them. And again, it's the same type of doodling. It's nothing, you know, nothing crazy. And this one, actually, I did decide to do a little dots. I just added dots to the petals just to make it different than the other panel, so it was a little something. I was going to draw little squiggly lines, but I changed my mind. Now, the one that I just did on the row, I did a partial emboss on that panel. I thought that would be kind of cool. I just used this older mesh embossing folder, and I just embossed the side of the panel, and that was it. Look how simple and easy it is. And I added stone drops to the panel, and I added Stickles. I use these all the time because they're a non-bulk, great way to add sparkle and shine to your cards. So I added Stickles to the flower petals, and I did the same thing with this one. It's a little hard to see on camera, but in person, when the light captures it, it's really, really beautiful. And I added some iridescent gems to this one as well. And the next one, this is the one with, I used a black matte on this one, and I used Pink Fresh Studio Thank You Sentiment. And this is the one I did the doodling with the dots. And again, I added Stickles to this as well. You know, I had collected these for so long and I never used them. Now I use them all the time. Now this one's a little different. I used a holographic cardstock for the border and for the leaves and for the gems. I used, they're from Trinity Stamps, and it's just a little different, you know, look with the holographic and just with the leaves, vellum leaves and holographic leaves. Now this one, you'll see at the video, at the picture at the end, this is just a plain black border here, but I added stitching and it looks so much nicer. I love the way this card came out. But yeah, just simple doodling, and it's just a quick and easy way to make a card. You could do this really with any stencil that just simple to outline, just a simple repetitive pattern. You know, use what you have and just doodle. This is the one I did not doodle on this one, but I added stitching to the black border at the end. I made another card like this and I posted it on Instagram a while ago, and I liked the design of it, so I decided to use this panel. I cut it in half and I was able to make 2 cards. The second card is a happy birthday card. And again, the sentiment is also from Pink Fresh Studios. I just added some vellum leaves, also from Pink Fresh. And I use those all the time. It's a great die set to have. And this one, I used Concord and Ninth. Big thanks for the big, you know, sentiment in front. And then I added Stickles to my little daisies there. And that's it. I make a lot of thank you cards. I don't know if you noticed that, because I sell a lot of my products, my de-stash items, and I like to add thank you cards. And I just like to also send out thank you cards for kindnesses that are shared or shown to me. So I make a lot of thank you cards because I go through them a lot. So I'm going to show you here in a moment. I have 8 cards in total that I made with this stencil. And some of them were cut in half and some of them were not. And here we go here. So I'd say it took me maybe, I don't know, a half hour to make all the panels, maybe another 20 minutes to doodle on all of them, and then to make the cards themselves, maybe another half hour, not too long. And that's it. So it's really, really simple to do, and don't be afraid. Like, I was afraid to try doodling, but don't be afraid, because if you make a mistake, you could just restamp it, or flip your cardstock over, restamp it, and do it again. You know, don't be afraid, just try it. And, you know, you come out with some really cute cards. Now, I wanted to show you here, I added some shimmer, and I wanted to show you the stitching to this card, but you can't see the shimmer on the petals, so, but, you know, at least you saw the stitching. I used a Posca pen, and I just hand drew, and I outlined this sentiment too with the Posca pen, and I added shimmer. In person, it really looks so much nicer. I tried to capture it here, but again, I added Stickles to all them, and that's it. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you liked this video. I hope I didn't talk too fast. That's the New Yorker in me. I tend to do that sometimes. I need to slow down, I know that. So thank you again for stopping by. I hope you have a great day, and if you haven't done so, please consider liking and subscribing, and don't forget, leave a comment down below for my random comment giveaway, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.